Hi, I'm James Peebles from the Clean Energy Project. Thank you for taking the time to join our Landlord live stream event. We've got some really good information here that we're hoping that landlords will find extremely useful. So I appreciate that your time is valuable, so let's get cracking. So what we're going to cover tonight is how to future-proof your asset and really understanding what do the renters of the future look like. We'll talk about increasing the value of your investment property with no financial outlay, and also our guaranteed zero cost solar and battery package. So a lot of people out there, a lot of greenwashing in the market from solar companies saying zero cost, but ours is a guaranteed zero cost solar and battery package. And we're going to talk about how that works. Okay, so what I'd like to do is just sort of have a bit of a flash forward to see if we can cast ourselves forward and look at what the future holds in regards to renewables tech. So by 2030, the world has undergone a significant transformation in energy and transportation. Renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric power have become mainstream, comprising a substantial portion of the global energy production. Electric vehicles, EVs, have seen a remarkable surge in popularity, with the traditional combustion engine cars increasingly become a relic of the past. Improved battery technology, coupled with widespread charging infrastructure, has made EVs more practical and affordable for the masses. Many countries have implemented policies to phase out traditional engine vehicles in favor of EVs. In the realm of housing, renters prioritize sustainability more than ever. Sustainable homes feature energy-efficient designs, utilizing renewable energy sources and smart technologies to minimize environmental impact and reduce utility costs. Renters seek properties with amenities such as solar panels, energy-efficient appliances, and water-saving fixtures. Additionally, eco-friendly building materials and green spaces are highly desirable, fostering a healthier and more environmentally conscious lifestyle. So I might revisit this video in 5 years' time and see whether that forecast has come true. So getting into what we're going to be discussing tonight, we're incredibly fortunate that in the last few months, there's been some really insightful surveys that have been done by realcommercial.com, realestate.com, and and Domain. So we're going to talk about their reports. I've tried to extrapolate the key points, but these are really interesting reports. I just wanted to mention, if you have any questions that that you have during this live stream event, if you pop them into the Q&A section of the live stream, and then I'll get to those at the end, just so we can keep on track and get through this. And if we can't get through all the answers that are posted, then all the questions that are posted, I will email the answers to your questions out to the wider team. Okay, so understanding the economics and ecology of energy efficient housing. Energy efficient homes are no longer just for the environmentally conscious, with the latest research showing the significant value Australians place on sustainable properties. The majority of people now believe in energy efficient features add value to the price of a property. About 3/4 of people would pay more for a home with solar panels. And that's coming from Karen Dello, who's the senior analyst at PropTrack. So she was involved in the writing of this report. So I've tried to draw out from this report the key things, and these are what we're saying. So boosting of a property's value emerges as a substantial incentive for homeowners to invest in energy efficient features, with a perceived impact on property prices influencing the prevalence of installations. 73% of respondents in the realestate.com Pulse survey identified solar power as the feature that adds most value to the property. So you can see here on the table on the left, you've got 73%, and then down here you've got home battery at 37%. So we're ticking off two of these items which add significant value. And as there's zero cost to you as the landlord, maybe that might give you some budget to maybe look at some efficient lighting, maybe to add. So we're all about, now this is actually backed up. So Domain coincidentally came out with another report. Now, if we send out this video, I'll put a link to this, but you can actually look this article up online. And it's saying that on average, homes with the sustainable features will increase by $112,000 on average. So it's how can we make your property stand out? A lot of homes have solar panels on these days. However, not many have a solar and battery setup. So I think this is where they're leaning towards, how can we add value to your investment property? And what do renters want? So Australians' most preferred energy efficient feature, solar panels stand out as the preferred energy efficient feature for both buyers and renters. And notably there, it says 67% of renters expressed a keen interest of having solar panels installed. And there we have the Australians are embracing the power of energy efficient homes. And 59% of the people in the residential audience pulse survey said that energy efficient ratings were extremely important when renting a home, driven by a desire to cut bills and lessen their environmental impact. And I think across the board, it's quite common knowledge that renters are facing rising rental costs. And therefore, if you as a landlord can offer your tenants a cheaper energy bill, they are going to love you. They're going to be very happy, and hopefully will make them a long-term tenant for you. This was an interesting slide. So it's quite interesting here to say that in this table here on the right, that across all age groups, there's not a big difference in how many sort of percentage of the different age groups actually value extremely important to not important the energy efficient ratings. You can see it's at a minimum like 10% across say that it's not important. So across the board, people are interested in energy efficiency ratings. And there is a really interesting point here, which I put in bold down here. 40% of respondents aged 18 to 34 expressed disinterest in energy efficiency, largely influenced by their renting status, limiting their ability to add energy efficient features to their rental properties. I suppose I would fall in that bracket because I have an investment property that's rented out. I'm actually renting a house, and I would love it if the landlord put solar panels on. And I do have a sense of frustration that I've got limited power to influence that decision. So what do the renters of tomorrow look like? So we're looking at environmentally conscious families. We've got to think that over the next few years, the impacts of climate change are gonna get worse. There is already a lot of awareness about climate change. So I think that that's only going to get more involved as we go along. Financially stressed due to cost of living. I mean, that's relevant today, and I can imagine in the future that that's going to be no different. And as we covered before, they're frustrated as renters at their limited ability to add sustainable features. And here's an interesting stat. So if you've got a rental house and you've got a family in your rental house, it's likely that they're going to have a couple of cars, and it's one of which is likely to be an EV, an electric vehicle. And I thought this data was quite interesting in regards to, you can see here that in just last year, in 2023, there were 98,000 new EVs purchased in 2023. And you can just see the increase in popularity from 2022. Like, it's just amazing, the adoption. I think we've all seen in the press recently about Tesla vehicles dropping in value. And really, that's just so that they can remain competitive with the EVs that are coming out of Asia that have got all the bells and whistles and are significantly cheaper. So the cost of adoption is reducing. And I think as we go on, I think you're going to see like a battery exchange program that's going to make it more affordable for vehicles to have their batteries replaced and therefore retain their value. So when we're talking about what the renters are tomorrow and how can we equip your house to your investment property to address the needs of the renter of tomorrow. And by installing a zero-cost solar and battery package, you can tick most of those. Now, we do have an optional extra that you can upgrade to include an EV charger, as there is zero outlay for the solar, the battery, and the installation. You can actually upgrade the package and add in an EV. That would be an EV charger. It would be our recommendation. Okay, so that kind of covers off about making your asset more attractive and also increasing the value of your asset. But I'd like to just take a couple of slides to discuss the clean energy project and what we're doing, and see if we can actually get you guys involved with this. So our mission is to install 1 million zero-cost solar and battery systems across Australia. And if we can achieve that goal, we're going to replace the power generated by 3 coal-fired power stations, which will save 21 million tons of carbon from entering our atmosphere every year. So that's our goal, and we are doing installs at a crazy rate. And how does the zero-cost solar and battery package work for landlords? So I think this offering is absolutely fantastic for landlords. I'm a landlord myself, and there's no way that I would spend my own money installing a solar and battery setup so that my tenants would get the financial benefit from that. Whereas with our package, you have absolutely no outlay to spend unless you upgrade for the EV charger. And the tenant will get a reduced energy bill as a result. So this is a win-win, and it helps improve the value of your assets. So next, we've got, so there's zero financial outlay for the equipment, installation, and the ongoing maintenance of the system. So we buy, install, and maintain the equipment, and then the tenant switches from buying coal-fired power, traditional energy, to buying the clean energy that they actually consume from their roof, from the equipment. And I think this is a really great offering. At the end of the initial 10-year engagement, if you renew, we'll replace the battery and the inverter at no cost to you. So the inverter has a 10-year, the inverter and the battery both have 10-year warranties. The solar panels have a 25-year warranty. So under our program, we always want to replace the battery and inverter whilst they're in warranty, because if we don't want to be in any kind of circumstance where we're maintaining a system and it's not in warranty. And if you choose to renew, then the tenant, if they're on the Diamond Energy package at 18 cents per kilowatt hour, they can carry that 18 cents per kilowatt hour forward for another 10 years. Okay. And your tenants will expect to receive a discount on the bill. It's about an average of 20 to 25%, depending on what they're currently spending. So if they just scrape in with just qualify, the savings will be less. If they're a high energy user, the savings will be a lot higher. And as I discussed before, you've got the option to include an EV charger, which is around $2,000. There are some cheaper units on the market, and there are some, but it's about on approximately $2,000. But as it's a bolt-on, you would have the choice to choose which one you wanted. And what are the benefits for you as the investor? So we're increasing your assets value for no cost to you. We're going to make your property more attractive to quality tenants. And particularly if you have tenants that are looking at multiple properties, trying to find a place to live, if they drive an EV, they are going to be more drawn to a property that has an EV charger and solar and battery, because they're already environmentally minded, the fact that they're driving an EV. So if you've got an asset. If you've got an investment property that's got a solar and battery, then you're going to be very attractive. It gives you an opportunity to reduce your carbon footprint. So I know a lot of people are very conscious about their carbon footprint. So this gives you an opportunity to reduce that. And you're also future-proofing your investment. So you can imagine renters going around looking at different houses, and your house is going to stand out. There are very few houses that have a solar and battery setup, particularly rental properties. And also, as a landlord, it gives you peace of mind. I know one of the bugbears of owning a property for myself is when the tenant rings you up and said, this isn't working, this needs fixing. So because we've got a fully managed system, it gives you the peace of mind that if anything goes wrong, we come out, we get you back online within 72 hours. And because of the monitoring system on this, we actually can detect faults before the tenant is even aware. So we can actually get, and it doesn't cost you anything for the call out and the rectification. And also, this is quite an important one, because in the bill that the tenant receives, so they're still getting a bill. It's 20 to 25% cheaper than what they were paying originally. But in the makeup of that bill is obviously their energy consumption, but there is also a pay down on the system. So you can see in this table here that the day one installation costs, the systems are around that $19,000 mark. But when you actually get down, every year, there's $1,600 from that bill is paying the system down. So that if you, at any point, decide that you want to buy the system out, then you can buy it out at a cheaper rate, and that's been paid off by the tenant, which makes that acquisition a lot cheaper for you. Now, I wanted to adjust. There we go. Here we go.
Yeah, pretty much we just want to make down our electricity bill.
With the report that NRN provided us for the past 6 months, we use solar and battery. It's a much better saving than one of the leading energy provider. We saved around $800 for that period.
The reason why I joined with NRN, the process is really simple, and then you don't need to pay in the upfront money, the big money for the equipment, but you just contact one person and then that person will fix everything for you. The energy price we pay for NRN is only about 18 cents. It's the agreement for 10 years.
The sun is always there. Why not, make use of that? For us, looking after the environment is important not just for us, it's for the future of our children and their children.
So I thought it was quite apt to put that testimonial video in there, because that could very well be your tenant. It's a really good example of the kind of bill savings that a tenant could see. If you had a tenant that could save $800 on their annual energy bill, they're going to be very grateful, and they're going to love living in your property. So what are the next steps? So how to apply for the zero-cost solar and battery package. So first of all, we need to establish that your investment property is eligible. So we've got 3 criteria that we run through. So that the roof can accommodate a minimum of 15 panels. So that's a 6.6 kilowatt system is the smallest system that we do. And then the system size increases if based on the energy consumption of the tenant. The roof cannot be affected by shade. So if you have any trees that are overshadowing the property that could impact the production, then that would negate make you ineligible. And we need to have a minimum daily consumption of around 15 kilowatt hours per day, and that roughly translates to about a $600 a quarter bill. Because of obviously the value of the solar equipment we're installing, we need to have a minimum consumption to make this financially viable for everyone involved. Then we ask you to get your an energy bill from your tenant. So it could be a recent energy bill, but we also ask for try and see if there's a higher energy bill, so we can accurately size the system. If the tenant has a higher usage in winter or in summer, then it's worthwhile getting a second bill, a highest bill, and that way we can really ensure that we're sizing the system accurately so that they can have a system that caters for their needs in their highest energy consumption quarter. From that bill data, we will create a proposal for you, the landlord. It will outline all the details, how much we can save the tenant. That can be shared with the tenant, although it's I suppose less relevant. Once that we submit the application to NRN for approval. Once you go through the NR approval, they will send a contract. Once the contract is signed, then the tenant signs up to the energy provider of their choosing. Currently on the Osgrid network, we have Diamond Energy. If you're on the Essential or Endeavour networks, we have Diamond Energy and Alinta Energy. So depending on which energy grid area, we're talking about the Diamond Energy package at the moment, which is 18 cents per kilowatt hour, and that is a locked-in rate for the next 10 years. So as energy prices keep continuing to increase, the tenant will see increased savings every year based on the fact that they are locked in on a low rate. And then after that, the installation is booked in. It's a really quick process, normally around 4, at a push maybe 5 weeks, but from the proposal review to signing contract and booking the installation is typically for about 4 weeks. Okay, so in summary, it's absolutely no financial outlay. That's our promise to you for the solar, for the installation, the solar panels, the inverter, and the battery. We buy, install, and maintain the equipment, and then the tenant just purchases the clean energy that they use from the system. It's a fully managed system, which gives you the peace of mind that you just don't have to worry about this. You can almost just put it on, it's set and forget, because we make sure that we're looking after and managing that system for you for the duration of the agreement. And as we've discussed, sustainable features increases the value of your property. So with zero financial outlay, you can boost the attractiveness and the value of your property, and it will be more desirable to tenants. Very few houses, rental houses out there, have a solar, battery, and an EV charging facility, and you'll be future-proofing your asset. So that's a great thing for no financial outlay. Okay, so now we've got some time for Q&A. You can type the questions into the Q&A chat function. And if we don't get time to answer all the questions, we'll email the answer. If there's a specific question that we get through, we don't have time, we will email the answer to that question. And if you'd like to get a hold of this and organize a clean energy consultation, you can email your tenant's energy bill to join@cleanenergyproject.com.au, or you can just email me at that address if you have any questions. But we'd love to have a tee up and have a chat with you. So now I'll just give a couple of seconds. I'll just see, we've got a couple of questions coming in. Okay, so one of the questions, what if I sell my property? Okay, that's a good question. So we've tried to make it as simple as possible. We have 2 options. So for a $45 admin fee, you can novate the remaining term of the agreement to the new owner of the house. So, and I suppose the benefit for that is that the homeowner, so say you were to sell within in 5 years, the new owner would have 5 years to run on that agreement, but then they get to get a replacement battery and the replacement inverter in 5 years' time. So that's excuse me, that's a huge plus for homeowners. Now, the other option is that you can add the cost of the solar and battery buyout fee to the value of the house. And when you find a buyer for the house, you can then purchase the equipment, and then the new owner is purchasing the standalone system with the and they get all the savings. So there's a couple of options if you sell the house. Okay, another question coming in. We've got, what equipment will be installed at the property? Okay, so obviously you've got the panels on the roof. You've got a battery, which is a modular battery. It's floor mounted. Above the battery, you have the inverter. It's a hybrid inverter, which means that the tenant can, during the day, use the energy that is coming from the solar panels directly into the house, whilst it's charging the battery at the same time. So older style inverters that are not hybrid direct the energy into the battery, and then the homeowners draw the energy from the battery, whereas the hybrid function allows both things to happen at the same time. And then there's also an NRN tracking box, which has a modem in, so the system can be monitored, and we can see if there is any issues with the system, and that's all mounted on the wall. Now that equipment can be mounted outdoors. It is weatherproof. So the one criteria is that we try not to install on a north-facing wall in direct sunlight. And the preference is, if there's an ability to have it installed in a garage or under a carport, then that would be the preference, because it just, for the longevity of the equipment, just has that a bit more protected. Is the tenant locked into using the energy provider that they've signed up with? That's a good question. No, they're not. So as I mentioned, you have Diamond Energy and Alinta Energy on certain networks. So and we've got more energy providers that are currently in talks that are coming onto the platform, and that will create competition on the platform. We're already seeing the competition in play with since Alinta has come onto the platform. For the first year, Diamond Energy got everyone that signed up, and since Alinta has joined, Diamond Energy is now losing customers to Alinta. It's creating competition, and that's what we love about this platform, is that the more energy providers that come on, the more competition, the better savings that are going to be offered to the tenant. And the tenant has the ability to switch providers. If a better offer comes up that they can save more money, they can change providers, which is great, because I think saying to a tenant they have to be with Diamond Energy, well, we're not. We give people the ability to switch providers. So it's really exciting to see more energy providers come on. And also, at any point, if you want to exit, you as the landlord want to exit this program, and you can purchase the equipment at that depreciated rate that we discussed earlier in the presentation. So yes, so someone's asking if we have a referral program. So yes, we do have a referral program. So maybe people are thinking that they know somebody who would benefit from this. So we have, if you refer a household to us and they sign up, we pay a $200 gift card to anyone that refers, that subsequently their referral signs up. So absolutely, we'd love you to share this. We're only going to get to our 1 million install target if we have an army of ambassadors out there that are sharing this. And we have seen so far, this is a very popular offer for people to share, because they want their friends to know and their family to know about, how they can access solar and battery with no financial outlay. Okay, look, I'm conscious of the time, and I appreciate that you have joined us for this Landlord live stream event. I hope you've got some value out of it, and I sincerely hope that we can install lots of solar and battery packages to rental properties across Australia. This is a fantastic offering, and I'm loving sharing it, and would love you to reach out, get in touch, and happy to create some savings proposals for you. Okay, thanks very much.